like the reason I'm here is to get my memories back from Lemuria, and that's why I came to ask some questions too from Cece. But there's a lot of story here. There's a lot going on. We all know a little bit of Lemuria, yeah.
Yeah, you know, I don't know if you know this, but I'm very connected to Lemuria. That's my.
Yes, if you're connected to Lemuria, then you have to come to Hawaii. Hawaii is ancient Lemuria. Lemuria sank into the ocean. Sank into the ocean, and just the tips of it is the Hawaiian Islands.
Right.
And so right now what's going on is called the Lemurian Rising. So the beings from Lemuria are rising, and we're getting our memories back, which is why you're being called back to Hawaii, because you have to be here on the land, and then you'll get your memories back, because the vibration of the land will trigger your genes to bring your memories back. So that's why we're being called here.
Whoa. It would be really cool if we could channel Lemuria, my counterpart from Lemuria. That'd be really cool.
Well,
try.
You know what? That'd be great. Try to do that, because I do have questions. I want to know why I'm here and what's going to be the next step.
Okay, we'll try. Because as soon as you started talking about Lemuria, like I just thought like all these stars in my head, and then I felt the present. So okay, so let me set the timer. And
I know your energy from somewhere. I don't remember it, but I could tell certain soul family when I get around them. You and Delta are definitely like familiar to me, but
I don't
it hasn't come back yet.
I'm not sure that he hasn't talked about Lemuria or feeling. Oh yeah, actually he has. Never mind. He does.
Because we're precursors. I think we've done it all. We've been Egypt, Atlantis, Sirius. That's why we keep every being. We're like specialized, that we're chosen. We were predestined to do this.
Yeah, but I will say Lemuria is probably one of my most really strongest connections right now. So, I mean, besides Essassani, of course, but like Lemuria is probably one of my strongest. So, but I have channeled Lemuria, like my counterpart from Lemuria, once or twice. So we'll go ahead and get in and connect and see.
All right, I only got a few questions, and I'll just ad lib the rest. Are you recording?
Yep, I am recording.
All right, because I got to listen to it later on, because I'm zoning out.
Yep. Okay, cool. Set the timer now. Going in. It is our pleasure to connect with you today. My name is Cece. I come from Essassani. How may I help you?
Greetings, beloved Cece. How are you?
I am wonderful. And yourself?
I am perfect.
Wonderful.
I'd like to start with, is there anything you feel you want to start with for me or for the planet Earth, whatever you think is most beneficial at this time? And then you could go into any messages from my guides, because they've probably seen what I'm trying to do here.
Yes, well, we could start with the messages from your guides, as this is the most strongest connection that we are receiving at the moment. And they are congratulating you on taking your next step on your journey by choosing what it is that's most exciting to you. are listening to your guide, you are listening to what's going on inside of you, your higher self or your connection to source. You are listening to it. You are receiving lots of guidance at this time, and you are choosing to move in this direction. And as you continue to move into the direction that's exciting to you, that's most in alignment with you, more synchronicities will become aligned for you to move in other directions. But as you move forward, you will continuously grow and evolve. And remember to remain in your center during this time as you are making your choices and decisions as far as who you connect with and what you do on the island. And you
Thank
can
you.
use different tools and resources locally for you. As the channel mentioned earlier, they have what you call the little people or the manahune. These are beings that are elemental in nature. They like to assist souls to in their evolutionary path. They can provide wisdom and guidance if you listen closely, if you allow yourself to respect the land, respect the nature, you could say. By doing this, you are opening up a door as they will be able to read your energy and your vibration, and they will be able to assist you. This is one resource or tool that you can use while you are there on the island.
Yes. Is there any message that my guides see that the island, because I feel like the island welcomed me, and I am grateful for that. If they could please pass that on to the island. But
Yes, by being
is
in
there
that
anything?
state of gratitude, by being in the awareness and the thankfulness in which you experience inside of yourself, this allows the island, the spirit of the island, to know your gratitude. And as far as what we wanted to share, you had asked about whether or not we had any messages about the Earth Collective. We do have one idea that we would like to share in terms of what you call the splitting timeline or the splitting prism. One idea that you might be able to consider is choosing your thoughts and choosing the vibration of each moment that is most aligned with who you would like to become, your future self, who you are vibrating, what type of expression you would like to make. By being aware of this, by choosing your excitement, by being in alignment with who you truly are, this will allow you to be able to choose the right path that is most preferable for you. This is one idea that we would like to share.
Yes, I'm getting very good at doing that, and I'm looking forward to more mastery and all that. This has been like one of the things I want to do with this session with you is just be very selfish and just ask a lot of selfish stuff just to get information and become more balanced with what's going on. Because for the last 4 weeks with me, it's just been nonstop. It's just new stuff. It's running, hitting the ground. It's a lot of manifesting. And so I just want to take some time and like ask some questions, basically say what's going on, where am I at, get my base. So pardon me for being a little selfish with this one. I normally wouldn't be like asking so much questions, but I just want to be a little selfish so I can be more
Well, there is nothing wrong with taking the time and
balanced.
asking questions about yourself. This session is all about you, anyways. So you can use the time however you choose to. We will not judge you in that way. But we also wanted to share that the channel was attempting to connect to Lemuria and the counterpart in which she has there in Lemuria. And at some point within the transmission, we can utilize the energy that has developed between you and the channel, and we can then go and reconnect to the Lemuria civilization to bring forth your counterpart that might be able to answer some of your questions about that particular civilization.
Okay, so we should hold off on the Lemurian questions a little bit till you bring it up.
No, we can ask the questions, and if it is time for that particular energy to come through the channel, then we will allow the energy to come through.
Okay, because one of my questions I had on there was like, one of the main things for me to come was I was supposed to have a Lemurian rising, so to speak. And I had a great retreat with Sananda and Shakina. It was so amazing. I became I just learned how to love more. That there's so much more to love that I could do, the vibration that I could tune into, and that's what I'm practicing now, and it's a gift. And so one of the questions I wanted to ask was, all right, so it's over now in January. What are we talking about? Because for me to get my memories, we're talking time frame wise. Would you say a month, 3 months, one, or
Well, here's the idea that we would like to share with you. It's a little bit different, something to consider. When it comes to receiving what you call memories in regards to your experiences in Lemuria, it is simply just shifting to the right frequency. And shifting to the right frequency, you are becoming that vibration. When you become that vibration and leave that vibration, you will then receive what's needed at the time. You will not necessarily receive everything all at once. You will receive different fragments. And it's just becoming aware. It's not so much that you don't already have access to these memories, they are there. It's just that you are now becoming aware of the memories. And as you go throughout the process of meeting the frequency of Lemuria, you will then start to receive more fragmentation of awareness of these particular memories. And these memories are in the surface, and you don't realize what are memories of these particular experiences in which you had. So during the process, we can't give you an exact time frame or an even idea of a time frame. It will depend on you and your ability to match with the frequency. Simply becoming aware of the vibration that already exists within you, around you, and within the structure in which you are residing, the island, you could say. It's simply by becoming aware of this. When you become aware of this, you will have access, infinite access to the knowledge in which you are requesting. So, in other words, you are not going through what you would call a process. You are simply just becoming aware. So, when you are able to tap into the idea that you already have access to these memories and you're just becoming aware of the memories that are already existing, you are realizing you're shifting your reality to that parallel reality where you are fully connected to your Lemurian counterpart, to your Lemurian experiences. So there isn't a line between the two. You are simply transcending them both together. And this is all becoming aware, just simply becoming aware that they already exist. And this tunes your frequency. Ways that you can use some ideas that we can share with you to help you tap into the vibration would be using tools such as sound bowls or crystal bowls, using that type of high frequency sound, such as a crystal prism or some type of other musical sound that has that high frequency. This will help you in meditation. You want to meditate, allow yourself to become closer with the spirits of the land, with the energy vibration. If you have a certain color, a certain image that you feel most drawn to, chances are this is going to be drawn straight to Lemuria. This is a vibration. Many times that the civilization will show the frequencies to you through different types of vibration. It could be through sound, it could be through images, it could be feelings in which you feel, but you are simply, again, just becoming aware of what already exists.
yes, thank you. As you were saying that, what came to me was I was already doing the right thing. I should just double down in what I've already been doing, which is to what I've already been doing, which is, my meditation, my energy work, my daily practices, watch my diet, focus on the gratitude and the love vibration, concentrate in the land, and if I double down on that, it will just naturally flow.
Yes, yes, correct. By just trusting in the process and flowing with the energy vibration. And we understand that you want all of this to be here and now, and we understand, but just remembering that it is here and now. You are experiencing it already, just in another reality. By shifting your focus to that vibration, this will allow you to bring yourself to that other reality.
Yes. Connection to their scenes, and this time frame. This is part of my one of my work I'm supposed to be doing. So I wanted to ask, what is my connection with the Essenes and this being that I am lucky enough to be part of this circle at the retreat?
Well, it is partially due to your, you could say, from a linear time sense history during different parts of your consciousness. You have different counterparts in upper realms, you could say, in terms of you being connected to what you call the angelic realm. At some point, you were in what you would call an angelic body, and you have done different types of work with the civilization you know as Lemuria. And as far as the connections go with this particular being, you have similarities in the way that you have worked through many different types of, you could say, dimensions, or you could say the upper realms. In other words, you could put it. So in the angelic realm is one place that you had worked together. Lemuria is another place that you have that connection, just to name a few. But you share similarities in the process of your evolutionary state, similar vibrational paths.
Yes, and I understand that you guys can't let the cat out of the bag and just tell the whole story, and some of this will unfold as part of the
Well, yes, and if you look deep enough inside of yourself, the answers will be there for you. And we want you to trust your own inner guidance and your own intuition. If we provide you with the information or confirm the information from you, then you aren't really trusting your inner voice. And part of the process of your own evolution is going to be able to trust yourself and know. Because part of being, as what you would call an ascended master, is to be able to tap into source directly and to be able to withstand the energy and know and feel and know who you are and where you come from. And not needing someone else on the outside to be able to provide you this information. And we wouldn't really be helping you if we provide you all the information. Besides, we are not being given access to all that information anyway.
Yes, I understand. I thought I would try.
Well, you did receive some information in regards to it. Whether or not you received them verbally fully, you are receiving them through downloads, which will allow you to be able to tap into that, you could say, memory a little bit easier.
Yes. Okay, now to some dreams. I told you this was all random stuff that I wanted to just fill in the blank. My dreams have been getting very interesting lately because, I had a strong ability to remember my dream experience, but a few months ago, maybe 6 months ago, I don't know when, but at some point, the way I remember dreams and everything just changed. It's like my energy changed. It's like I went to a different dimension or something. And I'm having to learn how to interact with this realm and bring in the information back again. It's like I had to start over again. It's like I got to this very high degree, and then all of a sudden now it's like, yeah, it's kind of like when you graduate from middle school, you go to high school, you're no longer like you have to like be a freshman again, so to speak.
Yes, you're relearning
Anyway,
how to work with the energies in which you are receiving during the dream state. You can
yeah,
ground the
so
circuit by allowing yourself to recall some of the different fragments of your dreams and using your electronic device or even a pad and pen and writing down what you recall, even if it is feelings or colors or whatever it is that you feel when you wake up. If you feel more lighthearted or if you feel heavy or drained, these are indications of parts of where you were traveling to. By keeping a journal, you could say, by writing down certain aspects of what you can recall, this will help you to start to connect deeper to these dreams in which you are experiencing.
and I do kind of do this religiously with the journaling. That's how I got so good at it in the first place. I do a lot of journaling. So yes, let's see what we could pick up because I had this one dream and it kind of stood out than the rest. And I think it happened right around the solstice or Christmas or something like that. So I paid very attention to this dream and I journaled it. So I'm able to remember stuff. But the idea was that there was these guys, Caucasian men in suit, middle age. They had beards, but they were well dressed, black suits and ties. One had a bow tie. And usually they kind of presented themselves in front of me. And usually when that happened, it's my guides. I don't know, for some reason, I at some point I ask my guides to show themselves whenever I have a new guide. So now every time there's a new guide, like these beings just hang out in front of me and show themselves. I think it's hilarious. That's what they do. And anyway, so the other day around Christmas or the solstice, there was a white room and there's these guys with beards, clean cut American looking or whatever, and one of them was saying stuff, but I couldn't hear him, and he was talking to me right there in front of me, and a flame appeared in front of him, and he stepped in front of the flame so that his head and his beard was in the flame, and he started to sweat, and then he stepped back, but he wasn't burnt or anything. He just got a little hot or warm, and it was kind of intense. But since I couldn't hear him and I couldn't bring back what he was saying, is there anything you could share for what that was all about? What was that about?
So this was partially due to projections, but this was also, you were at a different place. You were in a totally different dimension. You were working with a being from another dimension. And a lot of times when you are dreaming in the dream state, you will see people, you could say, human looking people, but many times these are projected in that form so your mind can have something to bring back with you when you're coming back from your travels.
Yes,
And
these were very higher dimensional being. I got that feeling. They were like higher dimensional being.
yes, yes. And you had mentioned that the last part, you had said that they were hot.
Yes, they were like he stepped in front of a flame. There was a fire in front of him, and his face was engulfed in the flame, and he just became started to sweat. That's it. He didn't burn. I was like, man, this guy's gonna burn up, but he didn't burn up. He was just a little warm, and he had sweat to show that he heated up. But I think the idea was to show how the fire did not hurt him.
Yes, this was partially that, and you were there assisting these particular beings, and they were showing you what it is like to be able to move through the fire, you could say. So when there is something that you are working through, a process or anything like that, you are moving through it as if it does not affect you, it does not burn you, because you can use that particular circumstance as a form of power. And they were instructing you in a way how to utilize this skill that you already possess inside of you. But also, you were assisting them on different levels. You were working with them on another, you could say, dimension with other beings. So you were helping empower other beings.
I was helping them.
Yes, you are. And
What who are these
when we say
beings?
you were
What like
helping them, we don't mean you were empowering them. You were working with them to help other people within that civilization, that you were there at that particular dimension, you could say.
they were appreciating, like they watch me on Earth and they appreciate how I step through the fire and stuff like that.
Yes, that's correct.
And they were thanking me for showing their people how it's done, blah blah blah.
In some senses, yes.
Okay, what who are these people? Like what planet? Is this from a totally different universe or what?
This is from, you could say, a parallel Earth, but these beings are high vibration. So they aren't necessarily humanoid. They are projecting themselves in that way. They are more of what you would say interdimensional beings. You were assisting on that parallel Earth, and they were working with you. Some of them were your guides, and some of them were other beings guides, you could say, on that parallel earth.
Yeah, it's just interesting the visuals that I was able to bring back. It didn't make a lot of sense, but as you say that, it does make sense. It does fit. Thank you very much. That is very, I don't know, for some reason, I feel more complete that I'm able to hear that from you. So
Yes, and
thank you.
not only that, just remember that. They want you to remember that idea, that you are able to transcend through the fire. So any challenges that come your way, remember, or anybody else's way in which you come in contact with, remember that being part of that fire, becoming part of that fire. You can sweat, you can let things go, you can feel the emotion that you need to feel. But remember, don't become the fire. Use the power of the fire to push yourself forward,
Yes, and what
overcome
I'm
all
getting
the
from
momentum.
yes, and I have been doing that a lot more lately, and I think it's also a reflection to myself to become conscious. Now that I'm seeing it, they're trying to say, yes, you're doing this already,
Yeah.
and they're making me conscious that I'm doing it now, and say, hey, look at what you're doing, because the more I am able to be aware of it, as the Lords of Light teach me, the stronger that ability will become in me. So it's kind of like Shivai, it's like Shivai. You're just saying, hey, this is something I got to walk through, but it wouldn't be here if I wasn't strong enough to walk through it.
Right, and they show me that you are carrying the torch. They say you are carrying the torch in terms of you are celebration. You're in celebration of that endeavor. So you, yes, you are able to do this, and you do this. But these are just also reflections, yes, to make you aware that you are doing it, but also to remember to continue to do it as well.
Yes, I've been training with this stuff for a long time, and it seemed like it's all starting to come together now, where I'm actually able to utilize all this stuff effectively and step into my mastery in many ways. So yes, but it all comes from my guides and my higher self hitting me with 2x4s. You're familiar with that term?
Yes,
Like at Earth we learn through pain until we learn through love. So I've been through a lot of pain learning.
yes, and
So
it is funny in a way to us because we see you humans struggle at times, and we are very compassionate to your processes that you choose to take on. But we find it rather funny because we see that the synchronicities or the, you could say, paradox is that you don't really have to go through that to in order to move forward. You can simply move up in vibration. When you move up in vibration, you become aware and things kind of fall off. But that's why we provide you with the information we provide you because this helps you in that way.
and yes, and I think that's one of the things I'm doing too. I'm growing through less pain. Yeah, because the idea is just to surrender to everything, and everything is perfection. If there's something coming towards me to go over, it's because I have to go over it. So that's the shortest path. So why fight it? Why resist it? Why not just surrender to it? Be grateful for it. So yeah, so now I'm in gratitude for everything, and when you do that, you kind of don't have to go through the hurdles anymore. But it's a process, but I'm starting to get it.
Yes, and by accepting what it is, you're right. Surrendering and accepting it for what it is gets you in what you would call a neutral place. When you're there in the neutral place, you can tune your frequency to be grateful and to slap a positive definition on the circumstance. But also remember this, as Bashar is showing this to the channel and showing this to myself. You can use the radio analogy, that or the television set analogy, that when you are on a particular station, that is what you're going to receive, but you can simply change the frequency. When you change the frequency or tune into the frequency in which you prefer, which would be, our experience says that you would rather be in a unconditional love vibration. This will allow you to be able to see things where circumstances in a much different way, but also these will move you through these circumstances in such a way where it does not feel stressful. Even accepting it, even after you accepted it, you can just tune your frequency so you are in a different place, not only into a different reality, but a different mindset as well.
And then I was walking through a house, and then I had a memory that this house was a house that I had tried to buy. I wanted to rent, and I loved this house. I kind of liked it, everything about it, but I don't remember if it was this lifetime or another lifetime because I was like, I remember it. It's like memories were coming back from someplace,
Yes.
but I was like, that's not this lifetime because I scanned this lifetime, and I was like, there was no house, and the idea was like I'm renting now, and the idea was like my rent is due, and the message I guess from my higher self was like, why pay rent when you could buy a house, and there's this house that you already liked, why don't you get that house? And I was like, so I woke up with, oh, and then inside they were cleaning the house, getting it ready, like they were cleaning the furniture and the people were cleaning it, and like they were getting it ready for me. And the idea was like, hey, this house is you like, get ready, why don't you buy the house? And then I woke up and I remembered that house. I was like, yes, there was a house like that I wanted. And then I scanned to see where was this memory from, and I couldn't find the memory. And I want to say that it's this lifetime, but I couldn't put it together where. So I'm trying to figure out, why am I being shown this now? Why was it tied to my mother family things? I know it looks like I should know this, but I don't know. So what can you shed on that?
Well, there's a couple things happening there. So part of the physical structure in which you had seen with your eyes in your dream, this was a house, you could say, that you were tying old memories from another version of yourself, you could say, but also it was a metaphor. Because as you are moving into the home or as you are getting prepared, they are preparing the home by cleaning it. This is part of the old energy being removed. And the symbolism, or you could say the metaphor for the home, is your security, is your powerhouse, you could say, your root. And this is partially due to your ability to be able to be in a more comfortable place with yourself in general, and you are releasing some of those old feelings in which you had experienced with your family, and these were surfacing to be released as you are moving into the higher vibrational aspects and the work that you are currently doing. You will receive many different downloads of information about what there is that you need to look at with a closer magnifying glass to make peace with. As you make peace with certain circumstances, including your relationship with your family, this assists you in not having any type of what you call baggage or anything that might be unsettled that may be behind you, in a sense, like an old sack behind you. And you may feel that you have fully worked through whatever you had to work through when it comes to the relationship with them. But if there is these dreams coming up, it is showing you that it is still being cleansed out of your psyche, you could say. What you can do is look at your relationship further. Again, going back to what we originally stated, looking again into the relationship and see where there is parts of yourself where you can make some form of peace within your relationship. Now, we're not saying that you have to have a full on constant relationship with your family or even have a relationship with them at all. It isn't really about them, it's about yourself. And it's about getting into a peaceful place with the acceptance of how they are and choosing the unconditional love vibration to be able to set them free in a way. Because not only setting them free, you're setting yourself free. But in reality, when you think of them, when you feel the feelings of that uncertainty in regards to their choices that they make or the uncomfortability that you might experience at some point. Now, we're not saying you experience it all the time, but if you do have those moments, then you are having to dive deeper within yourself because you're having to accept that that is their choices that they make with their life. And by walking into the path of what you would call an ascended master or a high vibrational being, you want to be in a place where you are coming from a compassionate sense, but also in a neutral stance. That you will not allow these energies to come within your bubble, but you are to look at it in a loving, compassionate way, taking a step back and coming from an understanding perspective, but also respecting that that is their way of living. And anything that might have happened within the past, again, that sweeping or that cleaning of the house, cleaning out your root chakra, cleaning any attachments that you had to that. As long as you are aware that those circumstances that have occurred can no longer influence your current life, then you are, you could say, clear in that way.
And what came to me while you were talking was that there is, although I have transcended much of the reactionary triggering that they bring forth, there is still something there, and I need to stand in front of them and face that energy and deal with, see if there's, basically the higher self is saying there's still stuff there. You have to interact with them and clear whatever comes up, and that they're the perfect catalyst to bring up what's inside you that needs to come up.
Yes, and it's not really so much that you have to interact with them to necessarily make physical peace with them necessarily, but there are parts of your being that you need to use, I guess you could say, you could use them to allow yourself to make peace with their circumstances. And you use them in terms of allowing yourself to see change. It will open you up to see that you've changed based on how your responses are with them.
Yeah, it's like how it's like the stars, the moon, and the astrological bodies are just reflection of what's inside of me. They are mirrors. So higher self is saying, step in front of the mirror of your family and look at yourself. Basically, it's right.
Yeah.
That's what it's. Yes. And now that makes sense. Now it would be nice if they would just higher self would have simply said that, but
Right,
I had to.
exactly. But then you
But that's
wouldn't
not
be
the
able
case.
to, then you wouldn't be able to look deeper and deeper as you go, and you wouldn't have the fun, you could say, of exploring the unknown within yourself as a journey, a soul journey or a vision quest.
Yes. All right, so I know what I need to do in that aspect. Yes. So yeah, I'm seeing a lot of, it's like a paradox with the universe, and it's like the ongoing Earth joke, so to speak. It's like, congratulations, you've done so much clearing. Get back to work clearing.
Well,
It's like,
and it's many people have the idea that the work that they do is really external, but it's really more internal. The idea that beings in which you come in contact with or circumstances that are happening around you are mirrors in that way to help pull things up that they need to be looked at a little bit further, such as belief systems, such as pain bodies in which you are attaching yourself to, in terms of different parts of yourself that you may feel, we'll use this terminology, unhealed, you could say, but it's really just ideas that you have not come to peace with is a better way that we like to say it. But in your terminology, you could say unhealed. And this would cause you to look deeper within those aspects. And you use different symbology around you and circumstances to kind of shake things up to make them move up to the surface when you are ready to look at them, to be able to make peace with them, to be able to release yourself of any core beliefs that are limited you from being your most expansive self.
Yes. One of the things I've noticed lately is I could sense soul family connections, and I just don't have the memories, but I could tell certain people. And I'm sensing that the channel is one that there's like a soul family connection with. What's our connection?
So you worked with the channel and what you know as Lemuria. You both use different, you could say, healing vibrations, different frequencies to work with many of the people within the civilization. She was what you would call a shaman or a magical priestess in that way. And you yourself were somewhat of what you would call a shaman as well and a priest, as well as the channel's partner, Delta. He was also in this particular time frame. He did a little bit of different type of work. He worked specifically with more in the animal realm within Lemuria, but you all did have some type of soul family connection in that way during that time. The channel has very strong connections to Lemuria just simply because of the part that she played within the civilization and what she does now. You could say in the physical earth space, she uses a lot of that energy vibrations, but she is becoming more and more aware as the energy becomes more available to her. So you could say in that way.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Mm, I'm still getting the music. It slowed down a bit my making of the music as I transitioned, and I haven't had my computer for a month, and I sold a lot of my music equipment to transition, and I haven't bought it back yet. And are you seeing that the music is going to pick up, and I'm going to make a connection? I'm thinking because my intention is to make a connection with like a record label and become like a get like a what do they call it
Contract.
a producing contract with them where I'm like they sign me up to like they it's like they give me a job to be a producer with the label because they say, all right, this guy could bring in a lot of music. So I forgot they call it a production deal. Yeah, production deal. Are you seeing something like that happening? Because that's my strongest focus, and I usually when I focus something like that, it tends to come through. So
Yes, in time you will be able to experience this. It may not be a major record deal at first. You will have to start with a smaller record company. But we say also some of the music that you will start to receive in terms of creating is going to be more of a naturalistic type of sound. So using different sounds from the earth, so using different types of shells, different types of water sounds, different types of wind sounds, many different instruments within the island that you can use to create a different type of sound. And this information will start to receive to you in the near future. In about approximately 1 to 3 months, you will start receiving some downloads in regards to this type of music. So it will change. Music will change a bit.
yes, I'm already starting to receive some music that is not in English. It's more like ooh wali mali mali way something like that. Hear what I say? It's like some different languages and sounds are coming through, and I'm finding that interesting.
Yes, as long as it is
All right.
exciting to you, continue to create the sound vibrations and which you feel most resonant within your expression.
Yes. Yeah. There's a song called "I Am." It's like I am, I am, I am, I am. That's a very powerful song. The vibration behind that is like very powerful, and I've my goal is to get something like that that people could sing, and it empowers them. You know, like I am beautiful, I am bountiful. That's just amazing. this is how powerful that song is. I will share that with you. I was looking for an apartment, and it's supposed to be hard to find an apartment here on Kauai, right? And I went swimming at the beach. I just decided to take off. It was a warm day, and I was singing that song for like an hour. It just me, the water, and the feeling of I am and I'm bountiful. And I kept saying I am a bountiful abundance. And when I got out of the water, I picked up the phone. I looked on Craigslist to see if there's an apartment available. There was an apartment available. I called the lady. She told me to come right over. And by the less than an hour, we made a deal, and I had the apartment. And I think it's because my vibration was so high from that song that I was just I just was in a timeline that I could just walk through anything I wanted to do, and I knew it was all because of the vibration I was in.
You were connecting to the vibrations of the song because it is something that warmed your heart. The idea of the vibration in which you were saying out loud to yourself did allow the frequency of your vibration to be much higher. And this, yes, this allowed the synchronicity. Not to mention, you were also in the receiving mode, which is also very important as well. It's just equally as important. By being in that receiving mode, you did receive what it is that you were looking for. And remembering that the universe will always take care of you. You will always be cared for. Everything is there when you need it. By just believing, and you shall receive it.
I've surrendered all this stuff to my higher self. My higher self is my partner, and what is for me, the higher self will make available. I set my intention that I want it, and then I have no qualms. If it doesn't come through, fine. Some stuff hasn't come through. It just means that I'm not supposed to. And we're at a very good place now, I think, of my higher self, where it's liking the way that I'm trusting it and surrendering, and I'm really not having a reaction when stuff does show up, or if something bad happens or so-called bad happens. Like, nothing bad happens anymore. Like, when something that used to be considered negative happen now, I literally just laugh because I think it's funny. I was like, this is very interesting that I will experience this. And that's like the biggest thing I noticed. It's like if I'm sitting here right now and I would drop my phone and I would crack, I would just laugh. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe that happened. This must be for an amazing reason. And before it would have been like all this, oh, pain and so yeah, I've done a lot of work in that regard, and that's the main thing. And it's just
Comedy is quite a good medicine to experience. This is something that the channel used quite often, so this is very synchronistic. But yes, this is a very good tool or permission slip to use when you are experiencing something unexpected or experiencing something that you might have otherwise felt a different type of emotion. Choosing the comedic side of it does assist you in keeping your vibration at a higher place.
yes, my it's like my main reaction now, like my involuntary reaction is no longer negative. It's like to laugh. It's like I'll see something happen that I probably don't prefer, and I'll immediately just now instinctively just laugh at it because it's not serious. It's like a joke. It's like wow. Yeah, it's hard to explain.
Well, we congratulate you. This is a wonderful tool to use. Many
And I
people
look
on this
forward.
planet do get caught up in the idea of their reality in terms of the materialism, in terms of the social construct. So this is a very good tool to use as it moves you into a different type of vibration. It does not allow you to become, you could say, controlled by external circumstances as you are choosing to use the power within yourself to forge a expression that is somewhat of a, you could say, high vibration.
Yes, and I'm looking forward to sharing this stuff with people. I just need my life to quiet down a little bit. There's a lot going on here right now in my reality. There's a lot going on. I'm training, I'm learning, I'm waiting for stuff. It's, if anything, I need to just
Just
slow
remember, not
down a little
everything
bit.
has to happen right away. You will, in time, get everything aligned that needs to be aligned. You do not have to force or rush things. Just allow yourself to enjoy the time that you have at the in the island, doing what it is that you love to do, and the time will become available to you at some point when you will start utilizing some of these ideas that you have to share with others.
Yes, and I'm thinking it's time to start looking at my book again. I had stopped, but now I'm starting to get ideas of where I could take my book and actually finish it. So as soon as I get my things settled, I'm going to focus on my book, finish it real quick, get that out there, and I think that's going to bring in an incredible amount of abundance.
Yes, yes, indeed.
Yes, I do believe that I am complete and we're right on time with perfect synchronicity.
Wonderful. Well, we do appreciate the time and energy that you have allowed us to share with you at this time. We congratulate you on all of your successes, and we will speak to you soon. We will allow the channel to return back to our natural state. Our unconditional love to you.
Unconditional love. Thank you.
I know it's watering.
That
How
was
was
cool.
that?
I needed that. It was like therapy for me because I've had such a
Oh
busy
my
last
gosh.
month.
I just looked, sorry, I just looked at the phone and it was 222.
Yes, I see 222 a lot. That's my number.
See,